This is the tale about how one decision altered the course of the ninja world. Kakashi makes his way through the forest where Orochimaru was last spotted, the words of the third echoing through his mind. If we lose him too, it'll be a fatal blow to the leaf. He decides to enter one of the strange-looking tree-like caves, scattering a few explosive tags near the entrance as a precautionary measure, cautiously making his way through the darkness. Orochimaru may be injured, but even in that state, Kakashi cannot guarantee walking away from that confrontation alive. A strange mist starts to set in. What kind of diversion is this? He thinks to himself, unable to find the source as it continues to thicken. Revealing his Sharingan, before he can react, the smoke forms into a hand. This strange new Kekkei Genkai. Anbu, declares the stranger. You got me, retorts Kakashi, with lightning surging from his hands, freeing himself. The stranger wastes no time engaging Kakashi, throwing a kunai his way to force a response from the Anbu. Kakashi easily deflects the kunai. The figure sprints at him. The Sharingan's eye of insight allows him to keep up, but the fog has only thickened, and an uneasy feeling settles in Kakashi's gut. Deciding to finish the fight quickly, he lands a lethal blow with his blade. Within moments, he finds himself choking on the smoke spewing forth from the wound. As it enters his nose, he finds his motor functions lacking, his body writhing on the floor, unable to breathe and in severe pain. The fog surrounding him starts to form into more of these mysterious ninjas circling him as he rapidly loses consciousness. The last thing his mind registers being wood-style before it all goes black. Awaking to pain in both wrists and ankles, Kakashi sees Kinoue standing before him. What technique was? I'll be the one asking the questions here, Kakashi, said Kinoue. I have 2 questions for you. How did you find this place? I got lucky. I believe you. My second question is, how much does the leaf know about Lord Orochimaru? Kakashi, refusing to answer the question, braces for the incoming pain while thinking of a way to get out of the situation he's found himself in. Fine. I have time. A short while later, the mysterious ninja leave to await Lord Orochimaru's return. Kakashi is now ready to speak, his wrists and ankles feeling like they'll break any second now. Hi. What is it? Kakashi, finally able to form the tiger seal with his left hand, sets off the explosive tags. Kinoue's concentration lapses for the briefest of moments. As he turns his head, Kakashi takes this opportunity to use lightning release to free himself from his wooden binds. Kinoue turns back. Kakashi has mere moments to decide, attack or retreat. He chooses the former, betting on Kinoue reflexively trying to trap Kakashi once again with wood style. Forcing Kinoue on the defensive, a small clash ensues. In Kakashi's mind, he's already won this fight. Distances created, kunai thrown, wood and lightning release clash, and in the end, a familiar scene plays out. Kinoue defeated, with a lightning cutter staring him down. With Kinoue no longer conscious, Kakashi releases his jutsu. There's a problem. Where are the other ninja? Surely they've heard the clash. The battle, although brief, was not a silent one. The silence is deafening. The uneasy feeling returns. Kakashi picks up Kinoue's body. He won't let the leaf lose another wood-style user. Murderous intent fills the room. The weakened Kakashi readies to leap away, but just then the ground beneath him rips open, revealing a snake. Kakashi leaps back. Orochimaru strikes from Kakashi's blind side. It's too late. The battle's over before it began, surrounded by Orochimaru and the mysterious ninja clan. Kakashi of the Sharingan has just been captured. Lord Orochimaru, what? Wake the child. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. Keep an eye on our copycat friend here. Someone, go help Lord Orochimaru. He's injured. Kinoue gets up. Take Kakashi to Danzo. Kinoue looks at his kunai, then at Kakashi. Whatever you're planning on doing, get it done. I've things to do. Kinoue makes up his mind and binds Kakashi's hands and feet with wood style, discreetly making his way back to Root headquarters. He made it out of the country. He made it to the cave and sent me away after helping me capture Kakashi. I'm sorry for failing, Lord Danzo. He'll be dealt with in due time. You two there, take Kakashi's body to the operating room. Prepare to extract his Sharingan and dispose of the body. Why capture Oro? He's too dangerous to let go freely for very long. He knows too many of Konoha's secrets. For once, Hiruzen is right. Back with Orochimaru, we see a bloodied cave. The bodies of the Iburi clan lay strewn about. Orochimaru got what he came for, the ability to temporarily use the clan's Smoke Keke Genkai. His escape is assured. For now, Danzo bides his time. Both Hiruzen and Orochimaru's day will come. We pick back up sometime later with both Orochimaru having established the Hidden Sound Village and what's left of the Uchiha joining it. After the Nine Tails attack and the loss of both the fourth and its Jinchuriki, all eyes were on the Uchiha. No thanks to Danzo and his rumors. He was able to convince the third that slowly separating them from the village was the correct course of action. Fugaku Uchiha, head of police, leader of the clan, and father to both Sasuke and Itachi, had in the past agreed to relocate his people, and defended Kakashi after receiving Obito's gift. In the end, as much as he'd like to admit it, the clan was right. The leaf could no longer be reasoned with. Should they revolt, the ensuing bloodshed would leave an already weak village in a far worse state. The village is already on borrowed time, and the Uchiha crew would only exacerbate this problem. Seeing the writing on the wall, he chooses something different. He chose the sound. He could not force the Uchiha to all leave. He'd done it before with the move. Although, that was back when he thought the leaf could be reasoned with. A vote was had, to stay and fight, or go and live. The clan was split. In the end, Fugaku could not blame those who wanted to stay. Their grievances, losses, and pain, all his. More accidents had started befalling Uchiha while on missions, and in truth, he wanted to strike back. Fugaku is a leader. The survival of the clan was of utmost importance to him. With a heavy heart, he and half of the Uchiha had decided to leave at the dead of night. Some of Danzo's root had watched over the Uchiha for a long time, something the clan had been acutely aware of. Not letting on that they knew about the surveillance, they waited for sundown to strike. The battle was short-lived. The Uchiha outnumbered the root present. Overwhelming them, they knew that they had just crossed the point of no return. If they had any chance to take the leaf, now would be it. The Uchiha made their move, some splitting up to cause commotion throughout the village, others to storm the Hokage estate. Danzo had his root take position ready to strike. Tonight, he would remove 2 pieces from the board in one fell swoop. The Uchiha encountered some Manbo and Jonin resistance along the way. The element of surprise and the eye of insight gave them the advantage, minimizing their losses. The Uchiha pinned their hopes on a shared Sharingan Genjutsu to take down the third. Having been alerted to what's happening, Hiruzen readied himself, sad to accept the fact that Danzo was right about them after all, reaching the roof of the estate, only to find dead Anbu and Jonin. The time for talk has ended. Hiruzen readied for a tough battle, their crimson eyes piercing through him. If eyes could kill. All was still, each side sizing up the other. 10 Uchiha, 1 Hokage. A small leaf lands, the spark that would set off a powder keg that was built on ostracism, lies, and resentment. Both sides strike, the Uchiha landing a conjoined fire-style Great Fireball, Hiruzen retorting with an Earth-style Mud Wall. 4 Uchiha break from the team jutsu, 2 launching themselves, 2 flanking. They land their strikes, stabbing into Hiruzen's trapezius muscle and under his ribs. A killing blow. Or at least it would have been, had it not been a mud clone. A shout is heard. Hiruzen has landed the double suicide decapitation technique, pulling the unlucky Uchiha at the back of the team into the ground, leaving only his head exposed. Hiruzen rises from the ground between the Uchiha. The 4 behind the mud wall noticed Hiruzen was too far to help out in time. Hiruzen launches into a series of precise strikes. Hiruzen understands the danger the Uchiha pose, quickly taking down one of their ranks and heavily injuring another before the rest can retaliate. The 4 who were separated start making their way towards the team. Hiruzen, wanting to keep them apart, times one of his punches with one of the Uchiha, locking his hands with theirs. Ducking under a cross and jumping over a sweep, he begins the hand seals for the Earth-style Earth Flow River. This was noticed by the Uchiha leading the separated squad, leaping into the air as his eye shows him what's to come. 4 down, thought Hiruzen, delivering a throw punch to his unwitting partner. Danzo readies to deliver the sign. The moment is perfect, but soon the rest of the leaf will be here. The window to strike will be small. Hiruzen knows that as long as he stays close, the remaining Uchiha won't be able to use any long-range techniques. The now airborne Uchiha uses the manipulating windmill triple blade technique. binding Hiruzen. Danzo reveals himself, killing the 3 trapped Uchiha, distracting them for a split second and allowing Hiruzen to break the wires. Danzo readies the kunai for the wind-style vacuum blade. The signal has been given. Explosive tags thrown in unison, surrounding Hiruzen, exploding simultaneously. More Uchi! Danzo lands the vacuum blade right through his old friend's heart. You brought this on yourself, Hiruzen. Danzo reaches for his throat, crushing both it and Hiruzen's hope for peace in the ninja world. The Root move in, helping Danzo take down the remaining Uchiha under the cover of smoke. The Yambu finally make it. When they do, they see dead Uchiha and an injured Danzo with his hand now placed on the dead Hiruzen's chest. A faked solemnness plastered upon his face, the joy of victory hidden expertly. Now's not the time to show one's hand. Danzo stands, ordering his Root and the Yambu to gather the village elders. They disperse. The Land of Fire's daimyo will be here in a day's time. Early next day, Danzo meets with the elders. Danzo throws Hiruzen and his leadership under the bus, pinning the Uchiha revolt solely on the now-deceased third. He was slow to act, showed too much leniency to the Uchiha, and is ultimately responsible for the lives lost during the coup. Hiruzen was a cherished friend, but his ways have only borne failure. Need I remind you all of the loss of the Jinchuriki after the Nine Tails attack? My men have been scouring the lands ever since to acquire the child. So what do you suggest we do? Support me as your new Hokage. It is time we do something to change the ninja world rather than hope it all works out. The meeting doesn't last long before the elders start being swayed. Kinoue interrupts the meeting. Excuse my intrusion. Lord Danzo, village elders, we have found the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Danzo turns to both Hamura and Koharu and asks, Do I have your support? The answer is a unanimous yes. The meeting with the daimyo begins. Danzo's painting of Hiruzen as a misguided idealist, the elders' unanimous push for him, and the Root's finding of Naruto have Danzo appointed as the 5th Hokage before long. Good. Now there is much work to be done.
Hey, what is up, PlusUltra fam? It is me, PlusUltraman, bringing you guys another podcast with podcast number 20. As you already know, since we had a pre-recorded What If for this podcast, we have a very special guest here on the podcast today. He is the voice of Itachi in the What If Jiraiya Adopted Naruto series, and he also has his own Twitch streaming channel, which I often visit and hang out in. This is Oxnagadaba. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hi guys. I am that person. He lies. He's never been on any of my streams. I don't remember seeing him ever. There's this Stravia guy though.
Oh, that's the lie there. He's bashful. So, as you guys have seen, Ox has a really good voice for narration. So definitely go and check out his streaming channel. I often just sit back and kind of type scripts and just kind of listen to him talk about games all the time. It's really fun. And he's currently playing, at the time of us recording this at least, through all the Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and he's gonna be playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot upon its release, which I'm very excited for. I'll definitely be in those streams. So I definitely encourage you guys to come to those as well. But today, Ox, since we've already gotten past your What If, and I wanted to go into it fresh and not listen to it myself beforehand, we decided to talk about our favorite games and or dream games we want to go into, and maybe some conversations about voice acting later on for those of you who might be interested in voice acting at some point. Never know.
Perfect. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, as the guest, go ahead and talk about your dream anime game. Something, if you could create your own game around any anime, manga, any work of fiction you really want to, what would you make?
All right, so I got a few ideas that I wrote down. Obviously, Naruto's my first one, just because that's the thing I've watched, I think, almost as much as Dragon Ball, maybe a little bit more. But I do have a few others, and it depends on which one you want to touch first. We could go with Naruto. We could go with Naruto as an MMO. Vagabond, Berserk, Attack on Titan, or Dragon Ball Muso.
Well, hey man, the floor is yours right now. You elaborate on what you want to elaborate on. You talk about what you want to talk about on. And when you take a break, I'll jump in after you.
Alright. I guess talk a little bit about a Naruto game. A single-player one. Something that, as much as I like Storm, I feel like it sort of failed in a lot of ways. There are a lot of fights that should have been boss fights. I'm looking at Orochimaru versus the third. And looking at Dragon Ball Kakarot, it sort of exemplifies something that I think all shonen games should have. The idea of visual progression. There's one of the trailers where it's actually compared his Kamehameha at the beginning of the game versus just towards the latter half. I want to say Cell Kid Buu arc. I was really looking at the screenshots and how it visibly got bigger, and I feel like if we take that framework and add it to Naruto, an open world single player game, somewhat like the original Ultimate Ninja series, not Storm, I'm talking about the PS2 series, where they actually had and gave a shit about the open world, I think that'd be great. Imagine sort of you're starting as Naruto in the academy. Now, sure, he has Kyuubi inside of him, and he's an Uzumaki, but that is a big drain on his chakra, so even though he should have the most, he actually has barely any control. No chakra really predisposed to him. You have a very shitty shadow clone, right? And I want to sort of tie that in with like progression through struggle, which is what shonen is. Imagine having to use that shadow clone repeatedly to sort of like learn how to actually allocate the correct amount of chakra, how to efficiently use it. And sort of in the beginning of the game, you have like maybe he could spawn one clone outside of like cinematic moments, like with the Mizuki fight. He's using one clone that could last a little bit, maybe takes one hit and dies, right? And then you jump all the way to the end of Shippuden versus Sasuke, and he has all of these clones just popping out mid-fight versus Sasuke, and he's low on chakra. The idea of using something makes you get better at it. Maybe the clones can't really do much except for like punch and maybe throw some kunai, but the more you use them, they start learning shuriken jutsu. They're able to sort of fight effectively as a separate ninja themselves, and they can use their own techniques, because we're talking about having a character's chakra, and sort of creating a whole new person. Or the Rasengan. This is an RPG that we're talking about. It doesn't have to be 100% like the game. Maybe if that's a technique that you use a lot, you can reduce the chakra load in the game significantly, and maybe he could just do it one-handed like he can as an adult, but a lot earlier. Maybe you can have it when Kabuto and he fought. He hit him with the Rasengan point blank. It didn't kill. It didn't even really send him flying. It hurt him a lot, though. Right? Maybe you start with something like that. It takes away most of your chakra. The more you use it, the less it takes, the stronger it gets. Really, if you're trying to make your version of Naruto, it's sort of like your build of him for this game, it's something that you have to work at. You don't just get the power up because this is around the time where he gets it and you're as good as he was. No, maybe you could be better. And you know what? While we're talking about that, I hate it when games make you play a fight that the character loses. And you maybe destroy the boss or the enemy, but next cutscene, they're down. It's over. Oh man, I lost. I hate that. I goddamn hate that. It'd be great if we switched that character.
One game series I used to love that did that was the Budokai Tenkaichi games. In the Frieza saga, you play as Gohan and Piccolo and Krillin and Vegeta against some of the fights. But then when it's like, okay, Frieza canonically whoops up on them, they like give you a whole fight where you're Frieza second form, and you have to go through Gohan, then Krillin, then Piccolo, then Vegeta. And it's really, really fun and satisfying because it's how the fight acts and canon. And I think it's a really cool thing that games don't do a ton of now. So, going back off to your idea of progression through struggle, I do really love that concept for a game. Here's my question to you. How do you make grinding in a game fun for the player?
Well, I guess it'd be that idea that you're always working towards something. Like there's this really mindless series that I love playing every once in a while called Muso or Warriors, right? And I mean, you're really just grinding to get a bigger bar and get more combos for your characters, right? Like my particular favorite is the One Piece Warriors games, Pirate Warriors 3 specifically. I'm waiting on Pirate Warriors 4 actually. But I think if you give people a tangible, like sort of visible difference, Rasengan takes a lot less chakra. The more you keep using it, the more training you do, you're starting to hit harder, right? Obviously, you're not going to be like punching holes like in your base form like Sakura did as a kid in Naruto. That would just be dumb, right? Within some sort of like reasonability. But just the idea of visually, I'm seeing a progression for this character. Maybe you can have a Naruto who's better at Rasengan than he was when, for example, he fought Sasuke for the first time in the Valley of the End. You know? Just the idea that the game recognizes that you actually got better at something instead of it being just a stat increase. I think the Deus Ex series does it really well. Once you get social manipulator skill and being able to see through things, the game is sort of yours. You invested on this sort of perk, and the game is obviously bending to you now. Except we're talking about a shonen, right? We're talking about something where you're more directly sort of fighting. What about the idea of shurikens? Another way to sort of visualize this is Naruto's pretty bad at shuriken jutsu in the beginning. Maybe if you work on that a lot more, you less of a chance of a character either dodging it completely or deflecting it, you know, something like that. I think, again, giving the player feedback is very important, at least to me. Especially if we're gonna have to like grind for stuff. Give me a reason to. That Kamehameha getting bigger really resonated with me.
No, I like the idea
reason.
Because that is the essence of shonen. A character has to have a visible, somewhat, traceable level of growth in terms of power, intelligence, maturity, speed, whatever you want to call it. They have to have some type of visible growth throughout a series, or it's not necessarily as shonen as it could be. So I definitely get where you're coming from there. Now, not to cut you off, to cut you off, because we do have a few more things to talk about, but going back on that idea of kind of a shonen MMO, I kind of have always wanted a One Piece game, not necessarily as a carbon copy of it, but somewhat in the style of the Xenoverse games. The reason I say this is because One Piece is a really big world, and the whole idea of trying to become the Pirate King doesn't, resound with just Luffy. This is something that the Supernovas also want to accomplish. You have Kid, you have, Law wasn't really trying to be Pirate King, but you have all these other pirates trying to claim the title. So I think it'd be really cool to put the player in that spot and say, hey, you too can be Pirate King, but first, you gotta beat all your rivals. So that's Luffy, that's Law, that's Kid, that's Beijing, that's everybody who, considers himself a candidate to become the next Pirate King. And I think it'd be a really cool thing to have a create a character and maybe even give you the ability to go out and recruit your own crew. And maybe they could have an aspect of the game where the crew are either characters you can customize yourself, or they're members of maybe a friends list you have, and say like, oh, so-and-so here is the cook of the crew, and then maybe have like a mini game for the cooks who can do that stuff, and that has an attribute that they can increase on, and the cool things they can do like that happen in the One Piece world. You have the navigator here, and the navigator has to go out and play these games that kind of increase their stat of how to, find certain ways around the sea, and maybe there's even a driving the ship mini game where the navigator has a advantage over other characters who would do it because they know the seas, how the water falls and flows. Certain things like that I think could be really, really cool as an RPG. Now, I said Xenoverse because when I think of anime MMORPG, with just the whole idea of creative characters and battling those characters together and ranking systems, Xenoverse comes to my mind very quickly. But I would also think that the whole idea of hockey abilities and the 6 powers that you see CP9 use and devil fruits, those could kind of be like your create a character stats and attacks and stuff like that. So say you have so much berry money, or whatever you want to call it. You can go to a local shop in the hub area or so and say, okay, I want to buy a zone fruit for my character, and you give them the dog fruits or something like that. And you make your own kind of pirate how you want to, and they can be somewhat based on the original characters and maybe have some of the original costumes and stuff, but give you those customization options, kind of like how Xenoverse does. I would really play a game and vibe with a game like that. That's just me personally. But what's another game you have?
Oh, okay. I was actually going to ask if, just anybody, if you could have 7,000 people with Luffy's gum.
I mean, I would imagine because when you get into Xenoverse, you still have a lot of characters who have the same loadouts just for the competitive scene of it. But at the same time, you also have people who play Xenoverse just for fun. Like me personally, I had a Saitama from One Punch Man create a character a long time ago, like back in Xenoverse 1. And the whole point of the character was just like boosting up the attack stat as much as possible, and then giving him specials that were just like punches, so like the Super God Fist and stuff like that, and that would just be how I tried to win the fight, just using that punch.
Yeah.
So you have people who just play the games for fun, people who play the games competitively, and those two sections don't have to really necessarily intersect, I think. And I think you could have a really fun game where maybe you have somebody who is able to use the 6-sword style or the 3-sword style, if you really want to make a character that way. There are different ways you can probably make the characters. There's probably a lot of balancing you can do. Like you could probably choose, I want my character to be a sniper, I want my character to be a brawler, I want my character to be a swordsman, I want my character to be like a hand-to-hand fighter. There's probably a lot of cool stuff you can do with this. I think it'd be a really cool concept. I doubt we'll see anything like it anytime soon, but I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So, how about you? Anything else, or do you want me to go for another one while you think of something else?
All right. So, I mean, which one do you want to get into? We got Vagabond and Neo, right? Berserk, I think Devil May Cry, or
I think
Attack on
the
Titan
idea
and
of
strategy
Berserk
game.
and Devil May Cry meeting in any way, shape, or form is way too badass to not be talking about already, so let's get on that.
Alright, Berserk and Devil May Cry. That'd be very simple. Alright? So what I mean when I say that, I mean a Berserk game handled by the Devil May Cry studio. DT, the double trigger, that's the Berserk armor gunning on Guts. Perfect. That's fine. I think, especially in an anime, with an anime like Berserk, where he's moving around and using that like it's a paperweight, I think you could just picture like Dante, except he struggles a bit more, and obviously serious and makes none of the quips. And I think you pretty much got the game because the source material is already pretty much there. The demons are pretty grotesque when you look at them in Devil May Cry, and that's kind of what you're getting in Berserk. I just think it just flows too easily, really. Obviously, you don't get to go to hell very often. That would be whenever a Baelith sacrifice is being done, and you got the Blood Red Moon. But I mean, honestly, what else is there to really say? I kind of feel like the game writes itself. At that
I would
point.
hope the game would have an M rating, just because it's pretty much going to have to. Now,
it has to, because look at all the other Berserk games that we've gotten. I think there was just one that I actually liked, and it's Berserk and the Millennium Falcon. It's a Japan only release. I totally got it legally for my PS2 and not for my computer, but not even that game is just, it's fine. It's not the best game ever. We got Berserk Muso. That game was utter garbage. It was boring. And especially with something like Berserk, I think an energetic sort of developer with its frantic, character action gameplay is pretty much what Berserk needs. Berserk needs an actually good game for once, not just a decent one. And it doesn't. It's never had that.
I feel that because I feel like a lot of really cool anime and manga properties or intellectual properties haven't really had the debut onto the video game scene that they really deserve. Now, one I think would be really cool as an idea, this is just me, Because I've never played any Mobile Suit Gundam video games before, and I don't know if there are any like really, really good ones. I'm sure there are. But one style of Gundam game I'd really love is something that's a lot like Warframe. Something where you're doing a lot of grinding and a lot of missions, and you can kind of customize your Gundam how you want to by doing that grinding, and maybe have blueprints of other like really famous Gundams. Like say, I'm not too well versed on the series, but say like, oh, the Unicorn Gundam is a Gundam you can get if you grind enough and like get enough of the in-game currency. I think it'd be a really cool game.
Okay. When you say that, I think about Armored Core.
I have not.
Have you played that series before? Oh man, just think of actually yes, just think of Less Fantastical Gundam. Also a Japanese series. I don't remember if they go into space very often. Oh my god, there needs to be another Armored Core. You even steal components off of other cores in that series, sort of add it to yourself. You sort of create your own mech. When I'm talking about like a core, I'm talking about a mech. Which you kind of see in the Gundam Builders, I think. Gundam Builders, Gundam Battler, whatever. There's this shitty series that came out of games. Horribly optimized. But they ran off of the idea of, at some point in the anime, it became kids playing with these toys that become Gundam. And it's the idea of, you have this like sort of component, and if you beat your opponent, you could take their piece and add it to yourself, and now your Gundam's slightly different. And you're sort of building your own Gundam that way. So like taking pieces off of the OG Gundam with the shield. I don't really watch Gundam that much either. The only one that I know is my dude Setsuna F. Seidei, and that's because of Gundam Warriors 3. Ironically, another Warriors game. Goddamn love that game. But just imagine the idea of taking a bunch of different pieces from other Gundam characters and adding it to your own and building your own mecha. That's
I think it is a fantastic idea. The fact that we don't have... Well, no. I guarantee you, I'm saying this now, and there's probably going to be somebody in the comments like, oh, actually, Plus Ultraman, they actually do have this. So if you are out there, if you are listening right now, please correct me. Because if something in the vein of this game exists, please let me know now. I would really like to play it. So, Ox, that was my next one. How about yours? Do you have another game idea?
Wait a minute. Let me open it back up. Let's see. I mean, I guess because everybody sort of has to say this. Bleach deserves a good game.
Bleach does deserve a good game. Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
They deserve something.
Now, does it have to be from CyberConnect 2?
It does.
Because, and I think it does. You think it does?
Yeah, but go on.
This is another question I have for everybody. Does the next really big Bleach game, if we ever do get one, which I hope we do, does it have to be from CyberConnect 2? Does it have to be Ultimate Ninja Storm, but Bleach? Can we do something different? It's not that I necessarily want something different, but if we could have a Bleach fighting game or a Bleach RPG, I'd like a Bleach game that's more like Kakarot that's about to come out, because that actually just goes through the entire story of Bleach, forgetting where the anime left off, but just going through the entire manga. That's what I want. I want an RPG that's a lot like Kakarot, where you could probably change out the characters sometimes, and have a game like that. That's what I personally want. Or if it was a fighting game, I'd like something with a little more balance than the Storm games had. Arena fighters are really fun. I love arena fighters. My favorite game of all time, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, was an arena fighter, but it's not very well balanced, and because of that, I don't have as much fun because I can't say take Chaozu and defeat Broly. You know, that's the real dream match I want to do. When I can get so good at playing one character that I can just beat them with anybody, as long as I know the character and their combos and the matchup they can really do well against. But go ahead, Ox.
Wait a minute. Pause. I gotta stop you right there for two reasons. Alright, Chaozu is overpowered in the Tenkaichi series because he is so fucking small and so fast that only Kid Buu can match his brokenness. So Chaozu can destroy Broly. Secondly, Kakarot is made by CC2.
That was CyberConnect 2 that's making Kakarot?
Yep. They're the only ones outside of ArcSys that can make a anime game look just like, if not better than the anime.
My own hubris is my downfall.
Just like,
Cannot believe I did research that before I made that comment.
just like Danzo.
I mean, hey man, you just like Danzo, you gotta look it up.
Oh my god.
But okay, if CyberConnect 2 is the developer, I won't be mad. All I'm saying is, does it have to be an arena fighter? And also, about the Chaozu point, Chaozu just doesn't have as many health bars as Broly does. It's not fair because of that sole reason. And he also does way more damage output than Chaozu did. We're not having this conversation right
Listen, I think we are, because, listen, just give me Chaozu, I will customize him, where he will be even more broken. He's got the speed. All he has to deal with is the armor. Broly is done.
You know what? There is a way that you can get the game and play it online with people now. I've seen it done. We'll set this up at some point and we'll probably record it for people. But
no, we do.
For now,
it looks like I'm gonna have to pick the game back up and train again.
I mean, hey man. For now, getting back to our dream anime games. One I would really love, as it goes to the vein of superheroes, and I think this game would do really well with just kind of a beat 'em up style, or this series do really well with a beat 'em up style, is I would love a My Hero Academia game that is very reminiscent of the Ultimate Alliance games. Not just the third one that's came out on Switch really recently.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Excuse me. But the first two, the first one I like way more than the second one, where it's just, as bad as it is to say this, it's kind of mindless, just hit A and keep hitting A, and maybe you dodge, maybe you block sometimes. Hopefully they would make the game a lot more fun to kind of grind through, but I think it'd be really fun. A few reasons. Number one, with those games, you can have really big rosters. You could say have Class 1A students, Class 1B students, Class 1A teachers, or UA teachers, maybe a few of the pros that we really know. And if you want to get really, really cool with it, maybe have a few DLC or unlockable characters. Say the first Nomu, say Shigaraki is playable, say All For One is playable if you do this certain mission and you do it this way and unlock it, because that's how the original Ultimate Alliance was before people kind of knew how the game worked and knew all the codes for it. You had to actually go back. I'm from a time where you didn't have to buy your characters; they were just already built into the game, and by doing a very specific chain of events and outcomes, you would somehow figure out how to unlock that character, but nobody knew how to do it until they went and looked it up online. That's pretty much the time I'm from. But I would love a game in that sense. Hopefully it would be better balanced than the Ultimate Alliance games are. Hopefully you would have more than 4 attacks the way the Ultimate Alliance games have. With those games you had if you press your right trigger, a different menu for your attacks comes up. You have ultimate attacks and an energy gauge to use them. And you can upgrade those attacks and get more damage out of them and see bigger numbers. So it's kind of like the progression through struggle thing that you see with the Naruto idea we had a little while ago, where the more enemies you fight, the more XP you gain, the more you level up, the more points you have to allocate to your stats and your moves, and so forth. I think it could be a really, really cool game. I hope we get something like this at some point. I know there's a mobile game in the works right now that, from what I understand, is a lot like the Marvel Future Fight game that is on mobile, and that's a game I've been long saying is kind of the spiritual successor to Ultimate Alliance. It's not an arena fighter, or it's not really a beat 'em up, but it's a top-down kind of scrolling game where you have a joystick and a few attacks, and you can use those, and you have a big roster. You can change costumes and stuff like that. It's a really cool series. But what's your next game, man?
All right.
Or if you had anything to add about that.
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance 3 is trash.
I didn't hate it.
Honestly, it got boring very quickly for me.
I'm also saying that with a lot of bias. The first 2 games hold a ton of nostalgia for me. I'm talking about PS2, late nights, bag of Doritos on the floor, 2 Mountain Dews, that type of nostalgia for me. Just playing games with friends really late at night when I had no worries in life. So when I played 3 with a friend really recently, it was also with a lot of rose-tinted nostalgia bias on there. Because even while we were playing it, we were this is not as good as the old games were. And we were agreeing the entire time when we said it.
Oh.
But I didn't hate it. I'll say that.
Okay, I'll agree it's not trash, but let me say this first. I have played through Ultimate Alliance 1. I had it on PS2. I had Ultimate Alliance 2, Civil War, basically the Civil War storyline on PS3.
It was just Civil War.
better than the Civil War movie. Yeah, that's right, I said it. But
you are trying to get me killed. You are trying to get me murdered.
we could jump onto that topic instead if you want. I think the Civil War movie is pretty trash outside of like Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Man.
Yes, I did have the comic. Yes, I read the comic several times. I think
the rage,
so bad.
The rage building in my comment section right now. Go ahead.
But wait, what? You want me to go ahead about Civil War the movie or the
No,
game?
I want you to move off the topic so I don't die.
Oh, come on, man! You gotta live dangerously.
No, man, they're gonna rage. I feel it.
All right, I guess real quick, just Attack on Titan, a strategy game. Have you you've watched Attack on Titan, right? And have you played the games?
I haven't played the games. I'm caught up with where the anime left off, with them learning kind of the secrets and seeing the ocean for the last time.
Ooh.
But that's pretty much where I am because I don't read the manga.
All right. I haven't read the manga in a minute, so
Been meaning to jump on it.
I need to get back to it just because I left off right before cute, sexy adult Eren. But essentially, taking the Koei Tecmo Attack on Titan games, except adding a strategy element to it, a top-down sort of command and conquer sort of view of it. The idea of, okay, picture this. You're there, you've got your 3 walls, you're outside of Wall Maria, you're seeing the Titans sort of incoming, you send some scouts on ahead, you send your wings of freedom ahead of you, you sort of direct where they're going to attack, what Titans they should go for first. When you have a Titan shifter, obviously things change. Maybe you want to micromanage the battle, so you take control of either a specific character, if you have like a general out there like Levi, or maybe you have Erwin. I would feel like Erwin would stay behind, and you'd send all the other characters out there just because he's a natural-born leader. Maybe you take control of one of them, or if you don't have any of those characters in the squad, you just take control of a rando. That way, if you die, it's just, we lost a rando. And just the idea of you're actually having to protect the wall this time around, instead of it being just like, so the Titans have reached the wall, and now they're just sort of mucking around now, because their goal is really to kill you. That's the fail state of the game, instead of it being, oh, they're actually going to destroy the wall if we don't do something, and obviously you'd have to deal with Titan shifters in a different way. You can't just send everybody go ahead, because what if you're fighting the armored Titan? He's just going to run through all of them. If you're fighting the colossal Titan, you need special equipment to sort of, actually take him down a bit. If you're fighting the beast Titan, I mean, you're dead, but okay.
You basically need Levi and like 40 people to just sacrifice themselves.
Yeah.
But I love the concept. I truly love the concept. Now, because there's so many aspects of the game that you can kind of make into gameplay. Like, say, okay, there's also a morale system in the game. So, on your last mission, there's like a RNG of like, well, hopefully it wouldn't be RNG, but there's some type of system of counting, like, okay, you lost 3 men on that mission, so now when it's like time to recruit more scouts, you have a debuff on the amount of people you can get and how skilled they are and like how willing they are to fight.
How about this?
There's like a motivation system.
Depending on how well or bad you do in the game, that will influence several things. All right, so there are multiple times in the anime/manga where Erwin goes out to recruit more scouts. If you're doing, you start off the game, obviously in this is sort of like he's the main character. At least the way that I'm portraying it. You get like a set, like default amount of people join you. You got these people that desert, they don't really want to join, that's fine. But let's say you're playing very shittily, you're not taking advantage of any opportunities afforded to you. You're not playing strategically. You're sort of just sending your men out to die. After a couple of minutes of this, you start getting people deserting. Or you start getting maybe you have some squads just disobeying you. Maybe you can't control Levi anymore. He becomes, I feel like he'd be the first one to go. He becomes unplayable. I was about to say unselectable. But the idea of like, I can't trust Erwin anymore. He's making every bad decision. And his regiment is sort of following just his orders. They're doing what he thinks is best. and a failure state of the game being Erwin has lost. Erwin has been deposed. He's no longer the commander of the scouts anymore. You know, and if you're doing well and you just got hit with some bad luck, and you take advantage of some opportunities, maybe you get like a boost in morale. Maybe you get more people signing up. If you're doing badly, you're obviously going to get a net negative of people leaving your regiment, and nobody really coming in to sort of join you, because then it becomes that suicide mission that everybody sort of portrayed it as in the beginning of the, well, not really just the beginning, just throughout the show. It was portrayed as a suicide mission. You're just throwing your life away.
I mean, the charisma aspects of this game are really, really interesting. I mean, the strategic aspect, it's a very cool idea for a game. I'm surprised they don't have this. I'm surprised they don't have like at least a mobile version of this, but it's a really cool idea, I think. But that about does it for my game ideas. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about voice acting and just like how you can get into it, I guess, because a lot of people ask me that now that I've like given auditions and stuff, like, hey, when are you gonna have your next audition and stuff like that. But yeah, Ox, how do you feel about being cast as Itachi? What was your reaction when that happened?
I thought it was a really bad joke. I thought it was a stupendously bad joke, honestly, because I did not think I'd get it. That was like not my first take, but it was my first time trying out for anything, you know. And I got the role. I just did not expect it at all. And just, I guess the irony of I already met Sasuke beforehand, because he was the guy who sort of made my banner for me. Not sort of, he did make my banner on Twitter. I was honestly just a DL shocked. I did not expect it.
Yeah, if I can find it, actually. I'm going to definitely insert Ox's audition tape, right here. like right here, like right now. Like future Blood Ultraman. Put it in like right now when I'm saying so.
Even if it is as an obstacle for you to overcome. You and I have to live together, even if it means hating each other. That is what big brothers are for. Those who forgive themselves and are able to accept their true nature. They are the strong ones. Wait. Shit. I need to look for my lines. Sasuke, is that you? Wait, you weren't supposed to be here yet. Where are my lines? Here they are. Sasuke, back away. Roll fast. They're gonna look real cool. Alright. Sorry. My capacity to exceed you is obsession with organization, obsessed with the clan, obsessed with our... Fuck the plane in the background, just fuck that plane in particular.
Hey, you guys back from watching that? I hope you enjoyed it, because I did, and that's why he got the part. And I was also unaware that he actually had met the actor for Gohan, or not Gohan, Sasuke, Gohan OXG, who sounds genuinely like Yuri Lowenthal. So as soon as I get another chance to, I can't wait to give these two their lines, and I kind of want to see if I can give them to them together, so they can maybe perform them, like maybe in a Discord call or something like that, and just get a real like repertoire of like how these lines are supposed to be performed. I'm really excited for where the story's gonna go, just because of that and voice acting. But yeah, Ox, in terms of like tips for people who might be like you, who might say, "Oh, there's no way I'm gonna get it. There's no way this will work." What would you say to those people, since you were really surprised that you actually ended up
I'd say just imbibe the fucking mentality. That's really the only reason why I got it. It's the only reason why I started streaming. Because what's that cliche line? You miss 100% of the swings you don't take, which I should take that advice a bit more, even though I'm giving an advice that I should still be taking and imbibing a bit more of. But you're never going to know. I tried out for it not expecting to hear from it. Then I have, and I get to meet a creator that I enjoyed the work of a lot. Yeah, you know what? Just go for it. You're never gonna know until you try.
Yeah, man, gutsiness. It's the basis of Naruto and all these things you guys like. You got to have the courage to go ahead and try out. And not just when I put out audition calls. If you see any of your creators try and do that type of stuff, definitely go and try it out. You never know. Something that I think is kind of like a sad thing about anime dubbing is that we have pretty much, in terms of Funimation, the same few voice actors, just because that stuff is pretty much a monopoly. Those guys are tried and tested actors in terms of voice acting, and they didn't get YouTube and Twitter and stuff to see opportunities. You guys do. You guys get that opportunity to go and maybe have your voice heard while you're playing a character by thousands of people. Ox has played as Itachi on a few videos now, and one of which he's done has been seen by almost like 50,000 people. That gives him some advertising for his own Twitch channel and stuff like that. If you have dreams and stuff, you can't be afraid to go and try out every opportunity to further your ambitions. I think that is something you guys really got to take in consideration. If you have any idea you want to just do something, definitely try out for stuff. If people are saying like, hey, I want some fan art. If you don't think you're a good artist, try it anyway. You never know. You never know. Always be willing to try at least. So that's my advice, and I'm pretty sure I'm echoing what Ox just said.
No, don't try. You're gonna fail.
All right, well, that got said.
Yeah. No, if you don't try, you're never gonna succeed, man.
True words had never been spoken. But guys, I think that'll pretty much do it for us. So real quick before we leave, shout outs to Ox and his Twitch. Again, guys, go to it. In fact, Ox, let's go ahead and plan this now. You said you wanted a few creators. This will just be for those who are seeing this like at the time. But you said you wanted a few creators you like to come in and voice chat with you while you play Naruto. Right now, let's go ahead and set that up that I will be on one of the streams where he is playing Naruto, and I'll be voice chatting with him while he plays Naruto. So you can pretty much come in and ask us both questions.
When do you want to be on?
So, man, we'll plan that after. We'll plan that after the recording. We'll plan that. We'll get to.
See that, boys? I called him out. He's backing out already.
But yeah, guys, definitely go and follow the man on Twitch. Go ahead and follow the man on Twitter. Both are really good follows. And again, you can interact with me on both Twitter and his Twitch. I am there a lot. Despite what he was joking about, I actually do come to a lot of his streams and just poke my head in and support. So it'd be a cool way to come and hang out with me sometimes. And again, you get to literally hear Itachi Uchiha playing Death Stranding. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. Death Stranding.
This is bullshit.
But yeah, guys, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to follow me there, definitely join the Discord. I'm trying to be more active there, and I'm trying to plan some more fun activities for people to do there. And Ox, is there anything else you want to shout out for yourself?
Well, yeah. I guess you already mentioned my streams, my Twitter. I have my own. I'll send you my Discord link, I guess. And something when it comes to VA, if you want to get into it, Castingcall.club. Try it. Just audition. Try it there. I need to actually start doing that. I got this resource a little while ago, and I just haven't used it. Mainly because I get so little free time and I just want to do absolutely nothing. But Castingcall.club, use that website, please, if any of you want to try out VAing.
The man said it. So, guys, that'll do it for me. As always, be sure to take care of yourselves and go beyond. Plus Ultra. Ox, do you have anything to say for me?
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and I love you all.
Aw, ain't that sweet. See you guys next time. And we're clear, my guy.